What's up guys, the prediction game videos for SummerSlam 2014 continue right now, and this time it's Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt, a match that's going to take place this Sunday, and also a rematch from Battleground, which Jericho won. And speaking of that match, I was right, on my prediction. Initially, I said the match at Battleground was a hard one to predict. And eventually, I decided to go with Jericho, and I'm happy I did because I got the prediction right. Now, this time though, in this rematch, I think it's, the opposite. Where I don't think this match is hard to predict. Unlike Ambrose versus Rollins and Stephanie versus Brie, where those two matches, I think, are pretty hard to predict and are pretty unpredictable. This match, I think, is, like I said, pretty predictable, but at the same time, you never know. You never know. See, Jericho, from what I hear, he's going to be leaving again after Night of Champions. And between now and Night of Champions, or between SummerSlam and Night of Champions, I don't think Jericho's going to have, a new program or feud with somebody else other than Bray Wyatt. I don't think he's going to have time to, for them to put Jericho in like a feud with The Miz or something like that. So, the way I see it is, they're going to have this match at SummerSlam, and then they're going to have a third match at Night of Champions. Which would also make sense, because that way, they use Jericho in his last possible pay-per-view appearance for a while. I hear the WWE Network subscriptions end after SummerSlam, so they really want to make the Night of Champions card a pretty big one and a good one. So, they could have the last match between Bray and Jericho, and they could bill it as such, the last match. And it could be, some type of special stipulation. I'd like to see something like No Holds Barred or something like that between the two. Because they had the normal match at Battleground, and this one, it's the same thing, it's also a normal match. The only difference is that Luke Harper and Eric Rowan will not be at ringside. And what's interesting with this is, I know at Battleground, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were at ringside, at least for the beginning of the match, or the first part of the match, but then, they got kicked out of ringside. But, they were there, and Jericho still won. And I think this time, to make it maybe a bit less predictable, they took out Rowan and Harper. Jericho beat both Luke Harper, Eric Rowan in singles competition, so they're not at ringside. So, people would think, Jericho beat Bray Wyatt when they were at ringside, so why can't he beat Bray Wyatt when they're not alongside Bray Wyatt right off the bat? But, I think still Jericho is going to lose this one, and Bray Wyatt's going to pick up the win. And one of the reasons for that is I don't see Bray Wyatt, losing another pay-per-view match at this point in time. He's already lost 2 straight pay-per-view matches. The one against John Cena, last man standing, and then against Jericho, of course, at Battleground. This, if he loses at SummerSlam, that'd be 3 straight pay-per-view losses, and this is somebody that was undefeated not too long ago, so it'd be pretty, unusual and just odd for him to all of a sudden start losing all these matches in a row after winning a bunch of matches in a row. And not only that, but more importantly, Bray Wyatt losing the match at SummerSlam, I feel doesn't make as much sense as if he were to win the match at SummerSlam, if there's going to be a match at Night of Champions, which I absolutely think there's going to be a rematch at Night of Champions. And if there is going to be a third match, if Jericho beats Bray Wyatt, twice in a row, he beat him at Battleground, and then he beats him once again at SummerSlam, why would the feud then continue? I mean, Jericho wouldn't have, anything to prove at that point, because he would have beaten Bray Wyatt with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan at ringside, and also Bray Wyatt with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan not at ringside, 2 straight pay-per-views. It just wouldn't make sense. But if Bray wins, on the other hand, then that works, because you've got a win for Jericho, a win for Bray, they're tied, and then you can sell the third match as the blow-off match, the tiebreaker, and people want to see that. They want to see who ends up winning the third match, and they can make it, you know, some sort of cool stipulation, since it's going to be probably Jericho's last match for a couple of months, or I don't know, a year or something like that. They can make it no holds barred, tables, something extreme that would justify, or something extreme that would explain Jericho's absence after, you know, the feud is over and after Bray Wyatt goes over. Because I think at the end of the day, and I think everybody, you know, expects this and knows this, at the end of the day, Jericho's there to put over Bray Wyatt. And, you know, him winning the feud, or even winning, like, you know, most of the matches they have, so, you know, 2 straight matches, one at Battleground, one at SummerSlam, it doesn't make sense if, you know, that's why he's here for, or what he's here for. So, really, when I look at it, everything points to Bray Wyatt picking up the win at SummerSlam. I highly doubt that Jericho walks away with the win. Jericho, I think, winning the match at Battleground was enough, and I think that was like the right move, the right decision to have Jericho win that first match, because he hadn't really won anything of significance or a big match in a while. So, you know, I thought it was necessary for him to first pick up a big win, and he did against Bray Wyatt, being only the second person ever to pick up a win over Bray Wyatt via pinfall or submission, pinfall to be exact. So now for this match at SummerSlam, I strongly believe that Bray is going to walk away with the win, and if there is a third match, which once again I think there will be, I think Bray is going to win that one too. So, that is pretty much it for my detailed prediction when it comes to Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it, and I'm out. See you guys.